Hey there, welcome to the Mountain of God. My name is Camille. Today is 29th of May 2021. Welcome to video number 39. Today I want to talk about the power of God. I want to talk about it because especially in the time that we live in right now and from looking at what's going on in the world right now and the precedents basically that we can see happening in front of our eyes. We need a right perspective on our God to understand what's going on, what's going to happen, and how we're supposed to play our role in it. Listen, if you look at the Bible, if you read what is told, because looking at the Bible, it seems like this book is something that tells us or speaks about just the time frame that our existence started. Just mentioning one additional story which happened before this whole thing, but we don't really see how this whole thing looked before this whole thing, and there are different theories. But if you look at the story at a chronology of what is written in the Bible, you'll see story going more or less like this. There is a God. He was, he is, and he will be, and it's never going to change. He is very creative, and he created a kingdom for himself. He created this kingdom in the spiritual realm, in some crazy dimensions, and there are few of us who were given a possibility to see how it looks like. And it's hard to read because it seems like it was hard to understand, even harder to write about it. This kingdom is completely absurd from our perspective as human beings, but it is well-functioning kingdom. And in that kingdom, there's tons of angels. And there was one particular angel. He was, as far as I remember, he was covering God's throne. He was one of the most prominent angels. And this guy someday thought, maybe I'll replace that guy sitting on the throne. And in that moment, the king basically he took this angel and throw him out of heaven with 1/3 of the angels that he basically tried to concoct this, I don't know, coup. And then God said, let me prove to everyone, my theory again, let me prove to everyone that I can defeat this angel, which is my creation. It's not really someone that I have to fight because there's no comparison between us. But I'm gonna create a lower tier race, like small entities that will be bound in 3 dimensions, not in comparison to anything that angels are. And I'm gonna defeat this angel with using them. That's gonna be like laughing in his face, basically. And then our story begins. It begins with saying that the spirit was kind of floating over the chaos. And that's why I'm saying that we don't see the whole story, because God never created anything that was chaos. Something to think about. If you look at the every day of creation, everything has its order. He never used it chaos. Anyway, but then you can see the whole story of human beings. He created this garden. He put two first people there. He gave them everything they needed, everything. And he said, listen, enjoy this whole thing, name this whole thing, give names to the animals and so on. And there's just one thing that I don't want you to do. Don't eat from this tree, because then, that's going to be like your choice to do things on your own. Obviously, we did what we did, and then the story goes on. And basically, then you can see that every time Satan tried to do something against God's plan or against people, God always did something that proved that he is having the upper hand all the time. Satan basically helped Eve and Adam to basically make a mistake, to be thrown out of the garden. But even then he said, listen, I'm going to fix this. in Proto-Evangelion. We talked about it in one of the first videos. Then you can see sometimes later, the devil start to get people into building a Tower of Babel. And there are some people that I agree with that it wasn't really a tower just to reach clouds, but it was like a portal to open gates for the demons to be able to go through this portal to get on the planet. And God said, nope. And he basically messed with the languages, and people had to, basically abandon the project. Sometime later, devil found a way to get the fallen angels to sleep with human women, and then we've got those chimeras, those giants. And God said, nope, and he sent flood. He killed everyone beside this one family. And then he created a nation just to be like a conscious to whole human race. And he said, listen, look at these people. Whenever they listen to me, I bless them. Whenever they go against me, well, they have to deal on their own. But I'm going to taking care of them and helping them anyway. And it was like a conscious to the human race. And then you can see, Assyrians didn't really work out. Babylon didn't really work out. Egyptians, they paid a price. And then you can see Jesus. After some time, he got fulfilled the first part of his plan that he's gonna fix it. But it was like having a kid who's misbehaving. And you're a parent, you're saying, listen, I told you not to do this, and you're still doing it. Please don't, because I really want you to have a great life, but you have to listen to me. If you won't, I'll have to kind of punish you, or basically give you what you want. Deal with this whole thing on your own, and it's gonna hurt. And that's why Jesus came, he fulfills the law. God loved us. That's one thing that I missed. When God created us, he loved us so much, loved this creation of human race so much that he kind of treated us as his own children. And when Jesus comes, basically, this is how he fulfills this love, by basically allowing this low race to kill his own son, just to fulfill the law that he basically constructed or built this whole world around. He fulfilled the law, and he said, listen, Israel basically seen how it's supposed to work, how much work is to please me. I'm going to make it even easier for you. Now you just have to believe. And you just have to do what the Spirit I'm going to put in you. You have to do what he says. It's going to be an amazing journey. I'm going to bless you like I blessed the Old my nation in the Old Testament. But you just have to listen. And now, he basically destroyed the plan of the devil, because now he fulfilled the law. He showed in a spiritual realm again that he won, because Jesus rose from the dead, and now he fulfilled the plan. And now people they don't have to be Jewish; they just have to be children of God, born of the Spirit and water. And now even more, when the Israel was on the planet, and that was the time of Israel, the time of law, they were the conscience. Now, in the time of after Jesus, every Christian is. That was the role of the church. Not only to make this whole even easier, just by giving us the Holy Spirit and being with us every day if we want to. But now there's so much more than just one nation. People all over the planet are basically conscious to the world. Listen, there's a world in the Spirit. I'm using you to prove to the Spirit that I got this. And along the way, everyone who's going to believe me, I'm going to make your life a beautiful, beautiful experience. But then, you just have to listen to me. And if you observe the world right now, and through the history as well, although the history is one big lie, but it doesn't matter, you can see that the world is deteriorating. This is exactly what happens when you're not following God, and the world is dying. And the only hope is to believe in God and get His authority over your life. And interestingly enough, now we get to the point when basically God said, at the time of Jesus, He said, listen, this is your last chance. If you're not going to do this, I'm going to give you exactly what you want. I prepared such a place, which is like a fire, but it was created for Lucifer and his minions. But listen, if you now you still got time. That's why I love that the time after Jesus is called the time of grace. It's beautiful. And now we're kind of like on borrowed time, looking at where we are. It just feels that it's going to happen anytime. But He says, listen, if you're not going to come back to me, I'm going to give you exactly what you want. And if you don't want, it looks like you don't want to be with me. So they're going to be just two places. One, where I'm going to be, that's going to be my kingdom. And two, that's going to be a lake of fire. Because that's the only place that I'm not going to be. I'm going to put Satan and his angels there. And now when you look at us, we are like the last generations. It seems like we are in a precipice of basically a precedence. Never in the history of human race the devil had possibility to get control over all human beings. Now he does. From technology standpoint, the system is already here, already built. It's just a matter of connecting us to it. And now we are at the point where we as a generation, we can see another Tower of Babel, another flood, another getting people out of Egypt or Israel from Egypt. This level, or even bigger, but this kind of event. And now, especially now, that's why I want to talk about this kind of right understanding. Who are you dealing with? Who is really your Father is, and what is our role and what is our situation in this whole thing, in this whole picture. Because I want you to see that God is doing exactly what He said from the beginning. He's using us to prove to the spiritual world that He's going to win, using us, giving us authority, giving us His love, and He's going to do it. And He's going to save all those who believe in Him and put us in the Garden of Eden 2.0 in His own kingdom, and rest will be basically put in the lake of fire with the devil, his angels. When the people part of this group, they were never designed to be there. God don't want anyone to get there. But if you don't want to be with Him, that's going to be the only place that He could put you, where He's not going to be. So you see, now when we're the last generation, now I want you to see that God is exactly doing what He said that He'll do. Nothing ever happened to mix His plans, to make Him, feeling discomfort or that He missed something. No. He over and over proved to the spiritual world, using us with every situation that happened on earth, that He got this under control. And interestingly enough, if you look at this from a military perspective, from the whole story of human beings, God did something that every general or military person will say, this is the dumbest thing you can do. From the beginning, God told Satan and his army how He's going to defeat them, with details. Every military person will say, what you want is the element of surprise. This gives you the upper hand. But God said, yeah, I got this. And that's why you want to understand what kind of God you're playing with. Who is your Father? And what is our role in this whole plan of His? And in this interdimensional chess game. And that's why if you've got issues, especially now I can see tons of Christians having tough time dealing with what's happening in the world. If you have issues with that, I want you to understand there are two ways that devil will try to fight you or to go against you. One is fear for your life, fear for your health, fear for your being capable of having enough to put something on your table, looking from economic standpoint. And two, he's going to use lie or lying. Well, he's the father of lies, so deception is going to be his major tool, right? And this is exactly what's happening. If you see what's going on, you'll see that this is a lie, and it uses fear to keep you under lid of his. So that's why God has three things that will help you to deal with this. And this is what I want you to do today. One, I want you to get his love. Because one of the things that you'll get the moment you start to build his relationship with him and deepen it, you'll feel his love every minute, every second of your life. And you'll know that nothing's going to be able to cut you off his love. It's just not possible. Second thing that you get every time you're going to get into your prayer closet, you're going to get so much peace in you that you understand that it's more than you can understand. And three, you're going to get faith. Because when you'll see miracles in your own life, you're going to see those crazy circumstances that out of nowhere just prove to you again and again that he's got it. That he is able to take care of you, and he's flawless in it. You'll start to see if that works in my life, and I can see that nothing it's able to surprise him. Then I will believe that all that long story that takes at least 6,000 years, if we count it correctly, then it's going to end exactly as he said. So that's why now, being in the last generations, I want you to kind of see that we are in the precipice of this event that will basically change everything. Because if you look at the Revelation, is exactly as written. Jesus will come not as someone so gentle as the last time, because that was this like gentle reminder. Listen, this is your last chance. Now he's going to come. He's going to take over, and that's going to be a hostile takeover. He will never ask anyone for permission. He's just going to come, take the leadership, and rule this whole thing for 1,000 years with his iron rod. And then, interestingly, supposedly 6,000 years of history, and then just 1,000 years of his kingdom. Well, it's like 1,000 years like one day like 1,000 years. So like 6 days of creation and then 1 day of resting. We're gonna rest under kingship of Jesus. Interesting, isn't it? So you'll see, this is what you want to do. If you want those three things that will help you to understand your role and have courage and make you someone who is completely, not even serious, but I want you to be courageous to stand on what he's saying. I want you to be sure that everything's going to happen as he says. So that's why go meet him in your praying closet and be like this kid who basically poke him, who's going to annoy him to the point that he'll just say, okay, I'm going to give you even more that you can understand. And then you'll have love, you'll have peace, you have faith. And then you understand how you're supposed to be using those last days with your unbreakable faith in your Father, that he's going to do exactly what he was doing for so many millennia. He's exactly going to do. He's going to prove using human race. He's going to prove to the spiritual world that he is God, and he always will be. So this is what I want you to take from this video. We are on a precipice of a historical moment in this whole long journey that took so many years, so many millennia. And I want you to understand that now is the time for you to understand who your God is. Now is the time, especially now, it's time for you to have faith, to have love, to have peace. Because no matter what's going to happen to us, you want to be on the winning side. Because whether you like it or not, what you believe about your God right now, and how much you can experience that and have this being sure because you spend time with him, and you can see that he is confirming that day and night in your life. You will understand that this is exactly what you need to be on the winning side. And even if these last days will mean that some of us gonna get hurt, some of us gonna get killed. Well, if that's the price, then well. But even then you'll understand that everything is gonna happen to us is like additional thing that will prove the point that God is making for so many years. Because every drop of your sweat hitting the ground, if you having hard time or sweating because of you basically serve God, it's gonna sanctify the earth that it's gonna fall on. Every tear that you're gonna shed because of being faithful to Him, it's gonna fall on the ground and sanctify the ground. And every drop of blood gonna sanctify the earth that's gonna drop on or fall on, because this blood's gonna be in front of God's throne, screaming for His justice and vengeance and revenge on Lucifer and his army. That's why I want you to see that whatever Lucifer does is just basically poking God to get his reaction, to basically get him to the point that this cup of Satan's guilt and human's guilt will be full, and then God gonna say, okay, enough. And then we're gonna see the revelation, then we're gonna see the 1,000 years under Jesus' rulership. And then at the end of that time, He's gonna wipe out everyone who's not gonna be against Him. And they're gonna put those people and those angels exactly where they want to be without Him. So that's why, think about it and do something about it. Because your relationship with your Father right now, the time that you spend Him right now, when we still got relative peace, before this whole thing is going to blow up in our faces, now it's the time to be sure, to get everything you need, and poke Him enough and annoy Him enough to get what you need to be on the winning side. You still got a little bit of time. Use it wisely. If you like this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think and what is your experience. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, just give me a shout. I'll be glad to do it for you. That being said, see you tomorrow.